What another fantastic Big Ten basketball showcase. We had a great showcase in the championship game last week at the Target Center for the women's side. The men's side, what another fantastic battle this time between the Wisconsin Badgers and the Illinois Fighting Illini. Boy, this is not your father's Big Ten basketball, right? Where it's a defensive struggle, very physical, all that kind of game. Although it may have been a little bit of physical at times in this game and throughout this tournament. But this was a high-scoring affair, especially when you look at the past about Wisconsin. They are not known as a high-scoring team, yet here we are, and we know what Illinois has done, and we know what Illinois can do. Playing in the Big Ten in that regular season slate is hard enough, and then getting through this Big Ten tournament is a challenge in and of itself. That grind, Illinois was able to survive that grind, and you have to think that they're going to carry the momentum from this championship into the NCAA tournament.
When you're part of something that's really special, and that's this league, when you accomplish something like this, you really appreciate it. You don't take it for granted. This league's very, very good. To come here and have three games that were all a little bit different, and then to have the confetti fall at the end, I couldn't be prouder of these guys.
You know, my college career, I haven't gotten a ring yet. So to come here and get the ring, this is the conversations, the visions I had with Coach during the recruiting process, and we came here and got the job done.
I feel like these last 4 years we haven't been labeled as the best team in the Big Ten, but at the end of the day, after every year, we always end up being the best team in the Big Ten. So it means a lot, despite of what people may say. We put a lot of time and effort into trying our best to win. And
let's talk about this basketball game. What an evenly matched, balanced scoring affair in the first half. But then when we switched over to the second half, Wisconsin came out with a vengeance in the second half, but never count out the Illinois Fighting Illini. We saw it in this building in the semifinals. We've seen it time and time again with this Illinois team. Their ability to come back, and when they go on a run, they are a freight train. And when that momentum really starts to build up, it really gets the other team on their heels. Big credit to the Wisconsin Badgers for kind of counter-punching and counter-swinging to this run. But when Illinois really got going in the second half, it was very tough for the Wisconsin Badgers to end up maybe on the winning end of this one. I could talk about Terrence Shannon. I could talk about A.J. Storr until I'm red and blue and orange in the face. But for Illinois, I want to talk about Marcus Domask. Because when you have that 1-2 punch of Domask and Shannon working at their best in these games for Illinois, this is a very difficult team to beat. And Domask really turned on the switch. He flipped the switch here in that second half for this Illinois team to get and clinch this Big Ten tournament title.
Just basketball. You know, people have off nights. You know, Steph Curry has off nights. And when I have an off night, I just remind myself that, you know, Steph, the greatest shooter ever, has off nights. So, you know, it's just on to the next play, next possession, next game, and you just keep playing with confidence.
I like the fact that you can push some buttons and play some different lineups and have a little have the ability to be different if we need to be. So I feel good about that.
I really love the battle between two former Wisconsin high school basketball players, Neenah's Max Klesmet for the Badgers and Waupun Marcus Domask for the Illini. They were going at it on the perimeter all game long, and it was just one of those matchups that was a joy to watch. And Illinois, what they did matchup-wise as well, kind of switching some things up to defend A.J. Storr and really putting the length, the athleticism we talked about in the semifinals in their favor in some of those matchups on the perimeter as well. When I talk about Wisconsin, right now the shift for the Badgers focuses to the NCAA tournament, and they appear to have rebounded from that skid that they were suffering late in the regular season. Chucky Hepburn, he's the key, right? We know what A.J. Storr can provide, but when Chucky is playing well and when Chucky is playing aggressive, this is a Wisconsin team that can really do some things.
I feel like he's one of the best players in our league. I felt like the first game he wasn't that aggressive, but tonight we saw him be a little bit more aggressive, coming off those ball screens, choking his motor, get into his spots, passing the ball well. And I think if he plays the way he plays tonight and all tournament, really, you know, toughening out through that leg injury I think he had, but I think when he's aggressive, I feel like they're a really good team.
We're better today than we were on starting this tournament when we landed on Wednesday, and now we get to go chase another championship. And all 68 of us, or 64 of us at least with the play-in games, will start at the same starting block, and one game at a time. You got to get 6, but I like what I saw.
With the Big Ten tournament in the books, it's now time to look ahead to one of the greatest shows in sports, March Madness, the NCAA men's basketball tournament. And let's kind of go over where some Big Ten teams sit throughout this thing. First, Northwestern, the number 9 seed, taking on an 8 seed FAU team that made it into the Final Four last year. Watch out for Chris Collins and Boo Buie. This is a team that could possibly go on a run. If they're able to get by the Owls, they only face the number 1 overall seed in the Connecticut Huskies, potentially in the second round as well. How about the Trev Alberts Bowl, right? Nebraska and Texas A&M in an 8-9 game. You knew there's no reason that they just did that coincidentally. You knew what the committee was doing there. That's going to be fun to see the cameras on Trev Alberts throughout that one on the sidelines as well. Wisconsin. This is a number 5 seed, but we all know all about the 5-12 matchups and how dangerous they can be. They take on a 30-win James Madison team. When you talk about the 12 seeds in this tournament, JMU, the Dukes, are a team that some people are projecting to possibly not only upset Wisconsin, but make a run to the Sweet 16 as well. Purdue, the number 1 seed in the Midwest, right, for one calendar year, and you could even go to the underperforming upsets that they've had in previous tournaments. It all comes down to this. Zach Edey's final run. This is the team that can win a national championship. This is kind of that last dance type of run that they could have in the NCAA tournament. They need to find a way to really hit their stride in these first 2 rounds, get to that Sweet 16, and keep the engine humming. When Virginia won a national championship, they also lost in their conference semifinals. There's a lot of similarities between that Virginia national championship team and maybe what could be this Purdue national championship team as well. Tom Izzo, Mr. March, getting in as the number 9 seed. They will take on an 8 seed Mississippi State as well. Man, were the Big Ten and their fans really treated to some excellent basketball over the past 2 weekends here at the Target Center in Minneapolis, both with Iowa and what they were able to do on the women's side, and then Illinois, Purdue, Wisconsin, and all the great games that we had here the last couple of days from the Target Center on the men's side of things. What a showcase of Big Ten basketball it was in Minneapolis here the last couple of weeks. From the Target Center in Minneapolis, I'm Big Ten Ted.